Pale eyes glinted in the moonlight above a snatch of brown cloth, glowering into the noisy dark. A strung bow rested on his lap, a bunch of arrows leaning against his leg. The eyes twitched as a rustling sound cut through the forest cacophony. Limbs moved without thought, and the youth stood, a long arrow notched to his bowstring. His muscles bunched and tensed as he listened, pale eyes raking the undergrowth. The rustling began to grow louder, and he pulled on his bow, drawing back to his ear. He steadied his breathing, taking slow, smooth breaths. Any moment now. With a gurgling shriek, a huge bird smashed its way through the trees. Its beak was as wide as a man's chest and wickedly hooked. The size of a pair of prize bulls, it shrieked and bellowed into the night. Still the youth breathed, still as stone. The beak snapped to face him. Huge yellow eyes blinked, the giant head tilting to the side. The breath rushed out of his lungs and the arrow flew, its fluted head whistling through the night air. Blood bubbled down feathers as the great beaked head fell, crashing onto the forest floor before him. The forest fell silent. Wrenching back his hood, he revealed a lean and angular face set into a snarling grin. The face of a survivor, thin and hard. He leant his bow against a tree, drawing a long knife. Another rustle spun him around. He took a startled step back as a shape came into view. It came at him, and before he could react, a heavy limb crashed into him, sending him tumbling backwards into the undergrowth. Roots slammed into his back and briars ripped his skin, until a thick tree stopped his rolling with a thump. Struggling to rise, he bared his teeth, knife ready in his hand. A flicker of a furred paw, the flash of a large green eye. His vision was blurring, his head spinning, nausea threatening to double him over. He snarled and frantically slashed at the shadows. Looming behind him, calm and quiet, it waited. There was no need to rush. This was an intruder, and the forest did not suffer intruders. A growl rumbled deep in the shadows, so close he could feel his guts vibrating. It reverberated through the trees, seemingly making the air itself hum, leaves and branches shaking and rustling around him. Stomach tightening uncomfortably, he tried to steady himself. He felt pressure building at his temples as again he cast around for a threat. The growl became a snarl, coming from right behind him. He spun around, staring up at the creature's silhouette as the moon shone out from behind a cloud. The creature was not alone. Some 30 hulking furred giants had gathered around the first. He was frozen in that moment for an age, staring up at his death, breathless. There was a ripple on the air, accompanied by a wet snap, and his world went black. An owl hooted from high in the canopy, and soon the chatter of the forest, alive by night, rose once more. Giant shapes receded back into the dark, returning to their vigil. The forest didn't care. The forest barely noticed.